Welcome to East by West Farms, where we grow what we eat and we eat what we grow. Today I'm going to cook chives with eggs, all from our own production. We're now in the end of March and things slowly start growing in our garden. Right now we don't have an awful lot of food. The only thing that's really growing is chives, and our chickens and ducks start producing quite a bit of eggs. We have been growing our own food for quite some time now. Chives have become a staple as early spring vegetables when nothing else is growing. If you don't have chives in your garden, you can find them in an Asian store. They are relatively inexpensive. Yeah, nothing's inexpensive these days. Other ingredients, we need cooking oil. I use some soy sauce, running out of soy sauce, so I'm using fish sauce. And then I add a little touch, which is fermented black beans, salted fermented black beans. Other things you need: 4 eggs. I use duck eggs, could be chicken eggs, whatever you prefer, whatever you have. Knife, sharpening steel, chopsticks, a container to mix the eggs in, a little bit of salt, and that's pretty much it. Almost forgot, you always need to know what weight that is. I've got this on my scale here and I got 306 grams, 304. It's changing a little bit. I like grams, they're just a lot, kilograms and grams. It's just so much easier than pounds and ounces and slugs and who knows what. And somebody can do the math in the comments and translate it into imperial units. So we have here 308 grams. And yes, I got dinged last time because I was 1 gram off. I did 2 setups to film that. Don't worry too much about it. 300 grams is good for a meal of 2. Right, if you have 4, you double it. 4 eggs, 300 grams of chives. That's all you need. I washed and cleaned the chives already. There's a certain technique on cleaning chives. If you want to know how to wash and clean chives, we had a video on that. That was actually the first video that we ever did. The next step is to cut them, mix the eggs, cook it, and we're done. The next step is to cut the chives in pieces, about a little bit less than an inches, 2 centimeters long. Inches, 2.5 centimeters. Always sharpen the knife before cutting. It's a safety hazard. Dull knives are actually less safe than sharp knives. And I start at the white end and then cut the chives into 2 centimeter, 1.5, 1 3/4 of an inch long pieces. Now there's some people who put a rubber band around the chives to keep them together. I mean, you can, but it really isn't necessary. You just cut them. You want to make sure that you cut them in about the same length so they finish cooking more or less at the same time. If you have very different length, then that is not good, because some pieces will be ready before the others are going to be ready. This looks like a lot of food, but they will collapse a bit when you cook them. So 300 gram, perfect for 2 people, for a meal for 2 people. Next, I'm gonna scramble the eggs. I've got only duck eggs today. Our ducks are doing really well, laying quite a bit of eggs. They will slow down during summer and during winter, but right now is the season when they try to make little ducklings. The eggshell of the ducks is much thicker than chicken eggs, so I use the knife to crack the eggs. So there's a clean cut. If you don't crack them well, you get a lot of splinters and they get into the food, and it's not a pleasant experience on your teeth. It doesn't really hurt anything. Scramble the eggs with my chopsticks. Chopsticks are just easy and convenient. Add a little bit of salt. Whoops, that was a little bit too much. You can't undo the salt. If it's done, it's done. That's all the preparation. Let's start cooking. I like to cook outside because it keeps the smell from cooking outside the house easy to clean up. A little bit of oil. We're using grapeseed oil here. We ran out of olive oil. That's kind of our backup oil. You want to heat the oil up high enough, not that it smokes, but if it's too cold, then the eggs soak up too much oil. The first thing we're going to do is cook the eggs. And you always want to start with the proteins, then the vegetables, then mix them together. The stovetop is nominally 1.8 kilowatt. That's the maximum I could find. I'd like to have a more powerful stovetop. Technically, I can get 20 amps through my electric power lines. The fuses are 20 amps. So the cables inside the house is 20 amps. My extension cord is ready for 20 amps. But I haven't found an induction stovetop that would give us a 20 amp current. So if anybody knows about a stovetop that has more power than nominal 1.8 kilowatts, I don't think it puts out 1.8 kilowatt. I'd love to hear about it. Let's test if the oil is hot. Okay, I see smoke. That should be good enough. When cooking eggs and meat and proteins in general, you want to cook them fast so you keep the taste, and you don't want to cook them completely through. And you cook them to 80% and then finish them up when you add them to the vegetables. This blends the flavor of the meat or the eggs with the vegetable flavor. Okay, that's done. I mean, that's 80% done. Maybe a little bit too much done. Let's add a bit more oil. Okay, that is warm. Let me get the chives in. Coat them evenly with oil. Now add a little bit of water. So the key in cooking vegetables well is not to cook them, but to steam them. I think it's called steaming. You don't want to have them covered with water. You really just want to generate steam so that they can cook. But you don't want to have them swimming in water, so all the flavor gets leached out of the vegetable. Usually I would put soy sauce in there. We ran out of soy sauce, so I'm using this Squid brand fish sauce. It's great for vegetables and fairly salty, so be careful on how much you put in there. Okay, so that's good. Let's steam this for a while. I'll add some water if it runs low in water. You kind of hear the sizzling sound when the water is low. Let it steam for maybe 3-4 minutes. Add the eggs and then we're done. Okay, this is done. So the water is boiled off and the chives have a certain consistency. It's very hard to describe. When you do it, you see it right away. It's not mushy, but it's soft. Next thing, I add the eggs. In the time lapse, you might have noticed I added some of these fermented black beans. They look a little bit like rabbit scat. So here, if your friends over, and scare them, you don't know what it is, tell them it's rabbit poop. It adds a little punch to it. You could add some red peppers, some red spicy peppers if you like spicy food. There's a lot of variations you can do with this basic dish. This is done. The eggs are fully cooked through now. Put it on a plate. I'll be eating this with a bowl of white rice. So let's see how it tastes. Chives are just about right. Not overdone, not too soft, but not raw either. And the egg is perfect. You know, nothing beats the taste of eggs from free-ranging chickens. Even organic chicken in the store don't taste like that. Let me try the fermented bean. Yeah, really interesting taste. Just a little bit of a punch that a little bit salty, but has a very characteristic taste. What do y'all think? Does this look more like rabbit scat or more like deer poop? I'll eat this with steamed white rice. You could use pasta, any other starch, potatoes if you want to. There are a lot of people right now who complain about the cost of living, cost of energy increases skyrocket recently, the cost of food is going up like crazy. A lot of people think you can't do anything about it, and that's not really true. I mean, it's easy to grow chives in your garden. If you have a little patch of garden in front of an apartment or your house, dig up the grass, grow some chives. They're easy to grow. After they're established, they grow like wheat. You can cut them like grass, and when they're about that high, cut them off. They come back a few weeks later, you cut them again. They make for a tasty meal. You can do something about the cost of living, the cost of food, and of course you can go vote. In this video I showed you how you can make a tasty meal that is healthy and cheap and easy to cook with simple ingredients. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. And if you subscribe and click the bell button, then you get a notification every time we post a new video. And I'm hungry, I'm gonna have lunch now.